Hey, what's up, guys? What I want to talk to you guys about tonight is mainstream media bias. And who are two of the biggest mainstream media biasers? Ashley Banfield and Nancy Grace. They've been all over this Idaho case. They've already convicted Brian Koberger, before he has even gone to trial. With their incendiary statements about Brian, with Nancy Grace making fun of Brian, making fun of Ann Taylor. Where is this going to end when it comes to the mainstream media? And here in a little bit, I'm going to play you guys a quick clip of Nancy Grace going off the deep end about Brian's new look and how she can't figure out why he has fans and why his fans are commenting on how sporty his new look from Ada County Jail looks. I'm sorry. I don't like Nancy Grace. Not at all. I'm tired of her running somebody down before they've even gone to trial. This guy's already guilty in her eyes. And she bombards the airwaves week after week after week, day after day after day on how guilty this guy is. What happened to his constitutional right to a fair trial and innocent until proven guilty and the right to face his accusers? Not in the eyes of Nancy Grace. Not in the eyes of Steve Gonzalez. Not in the eyes of Ashley Banfield. But let me get into this quick clip. Wrong one, sorry.
Breaking news tonight. Brian Koberger charged in the murders of 4 beautiful university students, now in isolation with a sporty new look for trial, sending so-called fans over the edge. Who are these people? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
My niece called and she was very frantic, and she was asking me if I had talked to Kaylee. Kaylee's phone goes directly to voicemail. Start playing Maddie. Nobody's answering. It's ringing, 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 ringing. So we turn on the TV and we see live news coverage at Kaylee's house, 1122 King Road.
Okay, right there. They're calling as the phone's ringing, 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 and nobody's answering. And then they turn on the TV and see live alerts from the King Road house. Okay, why didn't you, one, go straight to the house if you're seeing live coverage from the house? Why didn't you go? Why didn't you go? Jeff Kernodle went. The Chapins went. Why didn't you? Why didn't you? If that would have been my daughter, as soon as I was getting those texts and phone calls that something bad had happened to her and I knew where she lived at, I would have been out the door. And I would have been flying down the highway, not even concerned if I got a speeding ticket. Why didn't Stephen Christie make haste to the house that day? Sitting on their butts watching football, waiting for the sheriff to come to their house. If they saw it on the news, why didn't they leave?
Kaylee and Maddie are both dead. A quadruple homicide.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in.
When I hear that, parents being informed their child is dead, not from a car accident.
When I hear that, I want to know why they didn't leave and go to the house. If they're seeing this on the news, if they're getting phone calls, if they're getting texts, why didn't they go to the house? I'd like to know that. I really would, guys. I would love to know that. But Steve and Christy, they're a couple of very strange and odd people. I mean, this is their third GoFundMe, I believe. Second GoFundMe was to pay off Kaylee's car. I like to call Steve and Christy the odd couple. Because everything they do, everything they say is odd. Not odd in a bad way, but odd is they can't keep their mouth shut about stuff. That type of odd. They can't keep their mouth shut. They're always on the TV in interviews. That's what I would like to know. Because you haven't heard from the Laramie's until recently. They came out with the GoFundMe. Ben Mogan did an interview a year ago. He hasn't done any since. He did the interview on the 1-year anniversary of his daughter being killed, and he did that in remembrance of his daughter, about how they used to like to do this and that. The Chapins aren't going to be at trial. They're not. They may come for the sentencing to give their victim impact statements. If there even is a sentencing, I don't know. The Kernodles haven't done an interview since around the time of the killings. Neither have the Chapins. Neither have the Laramies, or Ben Mogan, or his wife. But it just seems at the forefront is the Gonzalez family. They can't seem to shut up. They're always in some type of interview. Yeah, Steve did an interview a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, with Nancy Grace. They've done an interview with the former FBI agent. I can't remember his name now, Chris something. And they've done an interview with Banfield and with Chronicles of Olivia and with Brian Hinton and now I've read some things on their family page, and they're trying to keep the murder of their daughter and Maddie and Xana and Ethan in the forefront, so people don't forget. People don't forget when something bad like this happens. They don't. Now, I don't trust Steve or Christy as far as I can throw them And with the way my health is, yeah, it wouldn't be too far. And I really wish this non dissemination order would get slapped on them. Because I'm tired of turning on my TV and seeing either Steve on Nancy Grace, or Stephen Christie on Brian Anton, or Stephen Christie on uh, this show, or Steve on Ashley Banfield. And a lot of people say that he drops hints. I think they're false hints, is what I think. I think they're false hints that he drops. But, one of the interviews he said there's a whole other level of investigation going on. I mean, and there's data being collected on a whole other level. Well, that could be true because you have the drug task force going on there in Moscow, Washington, and I believe it's yeah, Oregon. I'm not sure, but they have that that drug task force going on, and he very well may be right. Yeah, as far as there's a whole other investigation going on, investigation into drugs, because there's a lot of people that has been arrested over the last couple of years and have gone away for a long time. But I haven't forgot about Maddie, Kaylee, Zen, and Ethan. I think about them every day. I do. And, I want justice for them. But do I want justice at the price of an innocent man? No, I don't. I want real and true justice for them. Not at the price of an innocent man's life, no.
Accident, which is bad enough, not some other type of accident, but murdered in their own bed, in their own home. You send your child away to college.
Okay, right there. I gotta stop it right there. We don't know if they were murdered in their bed because of everything that's been coming out. You cannot trust anything that coroner says, Kathy Mabbitt, because she's came out and said that they were all asleep and they were all stabbed in their beds, and new evidence has come out that they weren't all asleep. Xana was awake on TikTok. Xana had a DoorDash order. And the injury patterns don't match. Just like Steve G said when he said, "Don't make me be the alpha." He said the injury patterns didn't match. The injury patterns on Xana and Ethan didn't match the injury patterns on Kaylee and Maddie. Ethan's were sharp force injuries. Xana's were edged weapon incisions, because she grabbed a hold of that knife and she was fighting for her life, and it damn near severed her fingers off of her hand. So she had an edged weapon trauma. Ethan had sharp force injuries. Maddie and Kaylee had stab wounds. Enough with they were all killed in their bed while they were asleep and they were all stabbed. No, they weren't. Two of them had different injury patterns than the two on the third floor. So, nice try.
With all these hopes and dreams, all your love, all your energy, all your money, everything you've poured into that child to hear that. And now I've got to hear the man charged in 4 murders, a quadruple homicide, has a quote, sporty new look. Can I see the mugshot, please? Look at this. That's right, Brian Koberger's new mugshot, seemingly tantalizing his so-called fans. How can there even be fans of a guy charged in 4 murders, in brutal murders? Murder, bad enough. But you have, for instance, the DC snipers who shoot at a distance. The people are never even, the victim's not even real to them. And then you have somebody like Koberger, allegedly, who up close and personal reassures his victim, I'm here to help, and then guts them.
Okay, I gotta stop her again. We don't know if that was Brian that said, "It's okay, I'm here to help you," or "It's okay, I'm going to help you." We don't know if that was Brian, and I'm sick and tired of these mainstream media darlings, these sensationalized media commentators, because that's what Nancy Grace is. She's a commentator. She sensationalizes everything she talks about. It's okay, I'm here, I'm going to help you, doesn't sound like a sadistic killer. It sounds like either a paramedic or a police officer. So I'm tired of hearing, "It's okay, I'm here to help you," and they're making it sound like Brian said it. No. It's either LE or paramedics. Those are the only two branches that say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," is paramedics and law enforcement.
Like an animal at the slaughterhouse. Him, a sporty new look, my rear end, but you've got to see what his fans are saying. There are a lot of Facebook pages and other pages devoted to Koberger. Let's take a look at fan reactions to the mugshot. This is real? Is this real? He's so handsome, hot, like a movie star. Why is he not smiling? He looks like a zaddy, which is a hot man, charismatic. And the look of confidence. I'm not seeing any stress. I can tell you one thing, I don't want them on my jury. What? He looks handsome, hot like a movie star? He's a zaddy? The look of confidence? I'm not seeing any stress. I just happened to pick those comments. They go on and on and on. Has anybody seen the crime scene photos?
No, I haven't seen the crime scene photos, and I'm pretty sure you haven't either, Nancy Grace. I'm pretty sure you haven't either. Because none of us have. Because the last thing I knew, they're all sealed. They're all sealed. The crime scene photos are sealed. The toxicology reports are sealed. The autopsy reports are sealed. So, how did you see the crime scene photos, Nancy? Did you pull some strings with some of your DA friends to see them? Yeah. Guys, I do not like Nancy Grace at all. I do not.
That home on Kings Road, if you looked at it from the outside, there is literally blood pouring down the side of the foundation. Oh, okay. Joining me in All-Star panel to help me make sense of what I am hearing, but straight out to renowned psychoanalyst joining us from Beverly Hills, author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Peacock, Dr. Bethany Marshall. Dr. Bethany, I know you've done some very intensive analysis with me on how women fall for somebody like this. It's as old as Charles Manson and his
Yes.
followers, people that fell in love and married. Oh, the Menendez brothers, who thought Ted Bundy was really cute. What is wrong with these people? It only emboldens Koberger.
You know, Nancy, what illuminated this topic the most to me was an important prison study where they interviewed women who were in love with famous inmates, like the Mendez brothers, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, the Pillow Strangler. And what they found were two things. One is that the women refused to put their thoughts together about the crime. They had never read the men's rap sheets. They insisted that they did not know the realities of the case. On the other hand, many of these women actually took secret pleasure in the crime, thought that the women had it coming to them, or that in the case of the Menendez brothers, that the parents deserved to be shot. So these fanatics, Nancy, I would guess that they're taking pleasure in the crime. They think those kids had it coming to them. These are not nice people. They're idealizing Koberger almost like one would idealize an evil cult figure.
Okay, you heard it straight from Nancy Grace's expert. We are all not nice people. And we are all idolizing Koberger like he's the cult leader. See, this is why I feel sometimes that people like Nancy Grace and Ashley Banfield should stay out of cases like this, because it's because of their coverage and their bias towards Koberger that the change of venue happened. Needless to say, it also happened because of Steve and Christy Gonzalez doing their own little jury surveys. But when Edelman did those jury surveys in Nez Perce, Lewiston, and Latah County, they were all biased that he was guilty because of the mainstream media flooding those three counties. People like Nancy Grace, people like Ashley Banfield, and a bunch of others. That instead of letting this man have his constitutional right to a fair trial and his constitutional right for innocent until proven guilty and his constitutional right to face his accusers, they are not only vilifying this man before he even goes to trial, but they've dumped nothing but bias in this case towards this man. Nothing but bias. Mainstream media narrative bias. That's why I don't like the mainstream media when it comes to court cases like this. This is a high profile case. It is. It's a high profile case. Probably the most high profile case in the history of true crime cases. It's even more high profile than the Chad Daybell case and the Lori Vallow Daybell case. I think the last high profile cases were the Charles Manson case, the Manson family in back in the late 60s, early 70s, Ted Bundy. And don't get me started about this. Oh, he's trying to idolize Ted Bundy when he's not. Ted Bundy went to a completely different college than Brian was attending. And just because Brian liked to go to Wawai Park doesn't mean he's trying to fixate on Ted Bundy. Because he's not. I'm really tired of all the comparisons that people like Ashley Banfield and Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace more than Ashley Banfield. She likes to compare BK to Ted Bundy and all the the Night Stalker. You heard her experts say Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. I kind of wish the Judge Hippler would put a gag order on the media, namely people like Nancy Grace. But like always, guys, like, subscribe, and comment on my channel, and leave a comment down in the comment section on your thoughts and opinions on exactly the mainstream media bias going on in this case. You guys have a good Friday. This is Robert with True Crime Podcast, and I'm out. Y'all have a good night and belated happy Halloween. Peace.
Stay in the house.